Hello all, welcome to the program Know Your Government by NeoIAS, an initiative where a government scheme is picked upon and elaborated, which is followed by a question which is in line with the UPSC pattern. Today, we will look into a scheme which is known as the Hriday scheme. Hriday or Heritage Development and Augmentation Yojana. Heritage Development and Augmentation Yojana. Now, the tagline for Hriday scheme or tagline for Hriday is rejuvenating the soul of urban India. Rejuvenating the soul of urban India. Hriday, rejuvenating the soul of urban India. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has implemented or has launched the Hriday scheme in 2015. So this scheme is being implemented by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Now, what is the key purpose of this scheme is to focus upon the holistic development of heritage cities in our nation. Focus on the holistic development of heritage cities in our nation. So what do you mean by heritage cities? Those cities which has got a special place in the history of our nation, which has got a rich culture to be claimed upon, which has got a unique cultural identity to be claimed upon, are some of the heritage cities. Now, under the Hriday scheme, its objective is to preserve and revitalize the soul of the heritage city. If you take probably different cities, say you take the city of Kanchipuram, you take the city of Warangal, you take the city of Puri, you take the city of Varanasi, the core characteristic of each of the cities would be different. So to focus upon the core characteristics or for the soul of the city and focus upon the development part is the idea of the Hriday scheme. Then the scheme will broadly focus upon four themes, or four themes is what the Hriday scheme is focusing upon. One is to build the physical infrastructure, two is to build the institutional infrastructure, three to build the economic infrastructure, and last one to build the social infrastructure. Physical infrastructure, economic infrastructure, social infrastructure as well as the institutional infrastructure. Now, what is meant by physical infrastructure? The construction of buildings, roads, other physical things which are visible to people. Whereas institutional infrastructure means setting up of a specific institutions in place. Say for example, some monument management committee to preserve upon the monument. Now, say Panchayati Raj systems. So those are the ideas of institutional infrastructure. Economic infrastructure, something which is triggering up the economic activity, and last one is the social infrastructure. Now, this scheme is implemented or this scheme was started its operation in 2015 for a period of 4 years, and it is expected to come to a closure by November of this month, further which an extension can be envisaged upon. Now, when the scheme has been implemented, close to 12 cities were identified as the heritage cities in or under the scheme, and those 12 cities are of importance to us, and those would include Ajmer, Amravati, Amritsar, Badami, Dwaraka and Gaya. So three starting with A: Ajmer, Amravati, Amritsar, Badami, Dwaraka and Gaya. Then Kanchipuram, Madurai, Puri, Varanasi. Kanchipuram, Madurai, Puri, Varanasi, and Velankanni and Warangal. Velankanni and Warangal. So 12 would include Ajmer, Amravati, Amritsar, Badami, Dwaraka, Gaya, Kanchipuram, Puri, Varanasi, Madurai, Velankanni and Warangal are the 12 cities. This scheme support the development of core heritage infrastructure projects. Development of core heritage infrastructure projects, and that some of these initiatives under the scheme would include the development of water supply, sanitation, drainage, waste management mechanisms, footpath, street lights, electricity wirings, landscapings, etc. So that bare minimum infrastructure are in place in these respective heritage cities is something which has been followed upon in the scheme. Then, if you place those 12 cities in map of India, that is how this would look like. So this is suggesting us the fact that more or less across India, we have identified heritage cities in our nation, and especially it is in the northeastern region where the heritage cities so far has not been included upon, which can be subsequently included as well. Now, the scheme supports development of core heritage infrastructure projects as we have seen before. Then that shall include revitalization of urban infrastructure, for areas around heritage assets identified or approved by Ministry of Culture. So the heritage assets or those heritage part has been identified by the Ministry of Culture, whereas the development of the core infrastructure part is something which has been done by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, who is implementing the Hriday scheme. Then, the main objective of the Hriday scheme is to preserve character of the soul of the heritage city, then facilitate inclusive heritage linked development, that is development of that city by including people of different caste, creed, sex, etc. of that specific cities, focusing upon the core strength of that heritage city is the idea in the heritage scheme or in the heritage scheme. Also, to develop a document and heritage the asset of inventories in those cities, so that future generation can also have a proper traction upon the prestige or the proud heritages which these cities has about to say. So, develop and document a heritage asset inventory of cities. Local capacity enhancement. Local capacity enhancement means local development to be catered in those heritage cities is the focus in the Hriday scheme as well. Now, creating an effective linkage between tourism and cultural facilities. So, as long as the heritage cities has been developed with enough infrastructure, with enough facilities, there is a potential for more tourists to be attracted into those cities. So, that is also something which has been taken up into. Making cities informative with the use of modern ICT tools, or in terms of the heritage cities, use of information and communication tools to so that the cities cities development is being properly completed. Say for example, the installation of CCTV, etc. So that would also add to the element of a security part as well to the citizens. Increase accessibility to these heritage cities is also something which is being looked upon. To ensure that there is enough road constructions, enough public transport system, enough mobilization mechanisms are also something which is being envisaged on a physical level, as well as from or through an online mechanism, a proper GIS mapping, proper data traction of the city, etc. would also enable, say, probably a foreign tourist who is not residing in India to plan for his visit in those cities. So, increase accessibilities, including both physical access as well as the intellectual access through digital heritage, that is sharing up of the information about those cities, then GIS mapping as well as the tourist mapping of those locations. Then, Hriday is a central sector scheme. Hriday is a central sector scheme wherein which 100% funding into the scheme will be provided by the state government. And the scheme will be working through a partnership of different levels of government, including the central, state as well as the local government, along with collaboration with both private as well as the public institution and the academic institutions. So that is the crux of Hriday scheme or Heritage Development Augmentation Yojana. Heritage City Development Augmentation Yojana. Now, let us now see a question based on Hriday scheme. Hriday is a scheme launched by the Ministry of Culture. It's the first statement. So that statement is wrong, because Hriday is a scheme which is not launched by Ministry of Culture, but Ministry of Culture identifies as the heritage cities involved, that is it. But the scheme has been implemented by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So first statement is wrong. Cities like Ajmer, Amaravati, Dwaraka, Jaipur, Kanchipuram, Puri, Varanasi, etc. are included under the scheme is the second statement, in which this on a first glance would look like correct, but Jaipur is not included under the Hriday scheme. So rest all cities are there, which is again making the second statement wrong. So statement 1 is wrong, statement 2 is wrong, So the option would be neither one nor two. Thank you so much.